wife, she's making quite a name for herself. Bit reckless, do you think?
So she's well aware of the danger she's in, so.
But are you?
Anna Politkovskaya was a fiercely principled journalist who risked quite literally everything for the truth. Maxine, how did you prepare both mentally and emotionally to take on the weight of this role?
That's a good question. It's a tough question. How do you prepare? I mean, you can't ever really, all I felt I could do was get as much information as I could about this extraordinary woman. Luckily there was a lot of text out there, and she'd written, amazing sort of a lot of, there was the brilliant Russian diaries, finding films, information. But like with all this, you've got to try and put yourself in that situation. You've got to try and imagine. And yeah, it was a stretch, because for a woman who, did what she did, I don't know whether I could do that. I don't know whether I could put myself in that position to risk everything to tell the truth. So, it was just the script, the research, working with Jason. To be honest, we did a lot, we worked a lot together, didn't we? And Jason, when Jason came on board, working with the script, building that relationship. I think that was really important, was that sort of family, the domestic life, as well as obviously her journalistic life.
And
yeah.
Was there a particular moment or scene during filming that made you feel the real impact of Anna's legacy?
I think it was when we were we did some of the scenes that were in Chechnya that we were shot. We didn't obviously shoot in Chechnya, but just the impact that she had on the people out there. And obviously when she was in hospital and when she was ill, and to see the sort of outpouring of love, to look outside the window and to realize what she meant to, the Russian people, to the Chechen people, what she meant to the global community in as a sort of, in a quest for the truth. And, and it wasn't just about quest for the truth, it was her writing as well. When you read her writing, when you read her work, it's obviously it is the truth, but there's something about her writing that's so beautiful within the darkness, and within, our ability to engage people into these stories, which are not easy, because as we know, we go, oh no, I can't, but she had an ability to be able to engage people to take them to this world that most people, we don't want to know, we don't want to hear, and she managed to be able to convey that.
Jason, your character, Sasha, represents someone close to Anna during a tumultuous time. What was it like stepping into a role that required both intimacy and political awareness?
Well, I mean, like Maxie said, first of all, you find out as much of the truth as you can, and then you let it go on the set, because in the end, we aren't Sasha and Anna, Jason and Maxine and I just looked at her, and you try and be that thing. He was a very successful political journalist. He felt himself on the right side of history, and then suddenly his wife eclipsed him, not just with her fame, but with her honesty and with standing and living the liberal values that he claimed to live by, but actually was rather enjoying his fame as well under this new regime. And she challenged the regime, and in the end she challenged his lifestyle, and he lost his job, after which there was some kind of decline for him. So what was it like? It's a joy working with a fantastic actress, because then the scenes come to life. What's it like actually being him? Miserable. I didn't enjoy that. And I think as him, I felt the shame of not enjoying it, the shame of jealousy of my wife, and the shame that my children saw that. And also pulling back from it as a kind of slightly more macro view. No, macro is a little one, isn't it? As an overall view. It felt like a story that we don't hear, a story that gets told and that is unbelievably relevant to our times. The story of this country that was lied to about an invasion that shouldn't have happened, and there was one woman, really one woman who captured the ear and heart of Russia for a while and said, we're all being fooled and conned, and this is a place with mass graves and mass rape, and these people are not who we're told they are. And so it's a story that's both compelling and dramatic, but also really relevant. So I felt, apart from the joy and fun, but satisfaction of playing these very emotional scenes, there's also a sense of, sometimes acting isn't just to entertain, it's to entertain and educate and provoke as well.
Did working on the film change your perspective on journalism or press freedom in today's world?
Nice, you want to say that?
Well, I think it sort of has put a stamp on what I already felt about the importance of good journalism. But as but it has the fear we are losing that. It is a very dangerous profession. We are, what can I say now, with social media, with, everyone feels they're a journalist, but what it means, what are the true, pure, endeavor. But yeah, I suppose it didn't, it didn't change my view on how I felt about the importance of it. But I suppose what really hit home was how this feels like something in the past that we might have dealt with, and look at this, and it happened in the 2000s, and actually where we are now is a more precarious, dangerous place for journalists to be. It's a never ending sort of cycle of and as Jason was just in an interview, our absolute fight to tell the truth. And now we're in a global sort of epidemic of truth, being completely wiped away.
There's two things in danger. They're physical. Some journalists' physical lives are in danger, many of them, but there's self-censorship. And then there's the fact that actual proper journalism with corroborated fact and witnesses on the ground are just not believed, because people live inside an echo chamber, and it's all about confirmation bias. And if you don't like something you read or it challenges your worldview, you're being told by some of the people in the highest seats of power in the world, it's not true, they're lying. Anything you don't like, anything that isn't what I say, is a lie, no matter that it comes from some of the most august journals and respected journalists in the world. And that's a twin challenge, I think, to journalists.
That's very well said. Do either of you have a favorite scene from the film or a moment while filming that stuck out to you the most or really stayed with you?
Well, I only had a few scenes. I loved all my scenes of Maxine, because that's all my scenes. We improvised quite a lot. We improvised around front of James is a wonderful director, and we knew what the scenes were about, but actually the specific dialogue is not as important as the dynamic. So I just like the fact that we were let off the leash to try and do something honest, and we weren't wedded to the words as if we were doing Shakespeare, and that experience was quite exciting.
Yeah, I always think the scene when we come back from the award ceremony. Do you remember when we were allowed to sort of, and we just sort of was allowed off the leash with that, and it was great because it was just, when you've got somebody like Jason just to bounce off, you know what I mean? It just gives it another level, another layer that.
Not knowing what's about to happen, like we don't in life.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
rare thing on set, and we were in those scenes. We didn't really know what was about to happen, and it feels like it, I think, when you watch it.
Yeah.
And for my final question, I wanted to ask, what do you both hope viewers take away from Words of War after they see the film?
I'm going to go first on this, because I
Please.
love this question. If it could be summed up in a bumper sticker, that's what they'd have printed. I hope people take away whatever the hell they want, but the bare minimums they think, God, I love the movies. I must go and see another one soon. That's what I hope they take away from it.
That's very well said.
Yeah. And I just want people to, of course, like Jason says, to love it, but to just give them a thought. It just makes people question. I just want people to question more. I just want people to ask whatever they read, whatever they see, question it. You know what I mean? Think about it. I mean, if it's just a couple of people that watch the movie and go away and do that, then I always think, that's a success. You can't change everybody. But yeah.
Yeah, of course. I feel like it'll have a very profound impact on those who view it. And I hope you guys enjoy the release and everyone getting a chance to see the film.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much for your time today. It was really lovely meeting you both.
Thanks.
You too. Thank you.